Jim Peters. This is Peters Principles. As you know, you never know who you're going to see on Peters Principles, and today we have the infamous Corey Belanger, city councilor and entrepreneur. And Corey, thank you for being on the show.
Jim, thank you for having me. And first I want to start with, I think a congratulations is in order to you for your appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So congratulations. It was an honor to vote for you, and I know you're going to do good things.
Oh, thank you. It was an awfully lot of fun the first...
It's great. It was great. I did it for 10 years.
Did you?
It's a great experience. You learn. I'm glad I did it because I think it makes me a better counselor who I am today.
Yeah, I just had a great time on the first meeting.
Good. Glad you enjoy it. You will.
It was fun. Today, what I'd like to start out with is, yesterday they ran an article in the Lowell Sun about Kronos moving into the towers.
Cross Point Towers, yes.
Cross Point Towers.
Yep.
And I still call it the towers.
I know, Wang. I know. People
Wang.
still call it the Wang Towers. I know.
Yeah. Anyway, so they moved into the Cross Point. They're moving into the Cross Point Towers, which is going to mean that, if I read the article correctly, 98% of that tower will be filled?
Will be fully occupied, yep.
Okay. And
we're a 12-year lease, I might add, so.
It was a 12-year lease?
12-year lease, yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Okay, so how did that come about, and what are we looking forward to with Kronos as a neighbor?
Well, we're very much looking forward to their presence here in the city. You know, they were located in Chelmsford on Route 129. And they had approached the city, I think through Cross Point officials, you know, they're saying this company has interest to Lowell and being, I mean, they're a worldwide company, really is. Several thousand employees. We're going to have up 1,200 when it's fully occupied just under a year from now, right? And it's 1,200 additional employees here in that building. So that's just great. And, you know, the city manager and his administration and planning and development stayed with them step by step to not to let them go anywhere. And they followed through and did a tremendous job in ultimately landing Kronos into that building, which again, like you stated, Jim, will be pretty much 100% occupied when they're in there. And these are skilled, high-paying jobs at the same time that we love to attract. And you know, UMass Lowell played a role, the workforce. They had mentioned that time and time again. So we're just ecstatic to have them. We really are. We're very pleased in the hard work everyone did, everybody involved, and it's a win-win for the city, that's for sure.
Well, what do they manufacture? What
they have to do with more or less time clocks for companies and surveillance and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a cutting-edge company that's constantly advancing to the technology, which is ever-changing, as we know, and they're staying right on top of it because they're growing like no tomorrow. So they're doing something right. I know I'm not an overly technological guy, Jim, but they're doing something right. I'll tell you that, and we're glad to have them.
I take it that what they're doing is something with the cards as opposed to the old time clocks with the cards.
Yeah, it's more or less like a credit card swipe thing, yeah, or a scanner. You just go by with there's a code on it. You just scan it by the machine, beep, and punch it in and out. Yeah,
have some prints.
Yeah, security purposes too. For to enter certain rooms, you need certain clearance. So that kind of thing. So and they service again. They're all over the world. So it's tremendous. We're really happy about that.
Now, who else do we have in Cross Point? The Verizon, right?
Verizon's in there, yeah. We have a new restaurant, Tavern in the Square,
I heard of
which is a chain. It's a tremendous place. It really is. It's good food. It's such a good venue for the city, and you see them in Boston and Burlington. So this is what we're trying to attract here in this city. Higher end, upper scale restaurants, and that succeeded, I think, and I'm sure. In Tavern at the Square coming to that parcel, I'm sure Kronos played a major role. They're coming in, played a major role to them coming as well.
I remember when the 99 showed up. That was supposed to be
that was revolutionary, wasn't it?
Deal.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It was a big deal.
Yeah,
and
got a lot of positive things going on. Jim, another one is Salapoli's project on Thorndike Street, where the old Comfort Furniture bedding building is. We all know is there for a long time. So furniture, we all know, I remember going down there as a kid. I'm sure we all have memories going in that building, whether it was for work boots or furniture or or pants and clothes. And but you know, Salapoli's got a tremendous vision for that parcel. That's going to include high-end market rate housing, about 30,000 in commercial space as well, about 160 residential units, 2 restaurants, a cafe. It's going to be a true destination at that location. So that was approved less than 2 weeks ago on the planning board. And I think it goes in front of the historic board, if it hasn't already, very shortly. And I think they're working out details now. So that's another good thing that is happening.
Was it the one that sticks out for me is, but I can't remember the name of the corporation. Begins with an M, I think, on Chelmsford Street.
Yep.
I want to say Microsoft, but
Macom.
Macom.
Yeah, they've expanded. Yeah, they're going to be expanding right on site there. So, and that's along the Thorndike. So, Jim, let's imagine now, not now, but 3, 4, 5 years from now, you're going to a venue at the Songus Arena, let's say. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're going to come off Thorndike Street, come off the Low Connector. You're going to see Salapoli's beautiful building there, okay, mm-hmm. with the mill, with glass residential units on top, mm-hmm. okay? You're going to go a little further. You're going to see the new Macom high-rise that's already sits beside it. You're going to see the new Judicial Center to the right. That's beginning construction in less than 30 days. And all the buildings that's going to go on there. You're going to see a new high school. Okay, and so by the time you get to the arena, there's going to be a wow factor what's going on in the city of Lowell and how far we've progressed and the positive things that are happening here. And along that gateway, it's just going to be a tremendous sight, really, as a visitor comes in and sees all. Just in those projects I mentioned, is going to be probably over $1 billion in investment. If you put everything together, high school, Macom, Salapoli's building, if you put it all together, you're talking about $1 billion in investment. It's tremendous, it really is. So it's very exciting stuff, Jim. What's going on in your city? We got a lot of positive things going on. We really do.
It's something I'm excited about, and I don't hear too much about in terms of its effect on Lowell, but I think that Lowell's going to have an effect here.
Yep.
Is the General Electric move to Boston from Connecticut.
Yep.
I see that as being something with ancillary parts.
Very well could. Very well could. Hopefully there's a residual ripple effect that goes all the way here to Lowell. I know we'll be looking at it. I know the manager's administration is aggressive. See, in economic development, you have to be proactive. I'm calling developers I know and that I may see out there networking wherever if I'm in Boston, geez, I have a business card and I know I said, geez, we have parcels in the Hamilton Canal for you. If you're interested, call, mm-hmm. and we're speaking with a few leads. It's a matter of being proactive and aggressive. You gotta sitting by the phone waiting for the phone to ring is not the right approach, Jim. You gotta be out there because it's tough out there. We're competing all the stuff that's going on. We're competing with the whole Route 3 corridor, mm-hmm. Burlington, Bedford, Billerica, Chelmsford. And they all want what we want. They want economic development. They want companies. So you gotta be out there.
The towns that you mentioned. I have occasion to go through them quite a bit.
Yep.
And it's amazing how many buildings are now for lease.
Sure. They're feeling it too.
They're feeling it too. Right?
I mean, yeah. Look, Cross Point up until Kronos, that was had 30% vacancy. So the Kronos is going to be occupying one full tower, the street towers. So even that had its struggles. Right along a gateway, a main thoroughfare. So it's other than Boston is thriving.
Right.
But as you go, but we're close enough to Boston, and we got it all. We got it all here in Lowell. We're accessible. We got a commuter rail, and we're capitalizing on all these assets that we do have to spur economic development.
Okay, what's going on with the building in Pawtucket Boulevard? The old wing. Building.
That is called Cross River Towers.
Oh, okay.
That has we located Metrographics, a company there from Nashua, to go in there back in February this year.
Okay.
So they're going in. UMass Lowell has occupied some space in there now, I understand. That is coming along. That is coming along.
Is
Yeah.
becoming filled
That's
again?
owned by Jim Power, who also owns the Warner Lancet Mills
Oh, okay.
right here, and that's that Warner Lancet Mills is in smack dab in the heart of the city,
Right.
and that's got nearly 100% occupancy rate. So that's just tremendous, you know.
That's amazing because
Yeah.
of the parking issue.
The parking, you know, centrally located, and you know it's tough to get to. But you know that has its challenges. Cross River, again, on being on the Pawtucketville side of the bridge, has its challenges too with the traffic. But they're holding their own. They're getting better. We got a very good owner in Jim Powell, who's very aggressive, and that's getting there. It really is.
It's an exciting time.
It really is. A lot of good stuff's going on. Your city's going in the where compared to gateway cities, we're ahead of the pack. We really are.
It's just an exciting time, and I'm a historian, so I'm always worried about how's it going to look.
Jim, I understand your perspective. You know the hard work you've done. Peter Osella, Fred Faust, Paul Meredith, so many of you that have worked so hard. And yes, we can keep Lowell's, we can hold our history close to our hearts and cherish it, but we have to look like a modern city as well. It's time we look, you know, on the Hamilton Canal, as people come off the city, they see more glass and steel, and so we look like more of a modern city too, rather
Even the
than...
acre looks good.
Yeah, Acres coming along,
Acres
absolutely,
come
yeah.
along quite
Yeah, if you
well.
go up Merrimack Street, a lot of improvements there when the university's presence has now got a strong presence there. That's shaping up very nicely. So, you know, there's many partners involved in this. It's the city, it's UMass Lowell, it's the Economic Development Office, it's the City Council that me and my colleagues are working hard to achieve because we put this on the forefront. You know, we want high-paying, high-skilled jobs in the city. You know, Boston and Cambridge, they have MIT and Harvard. Well, we got UMass Lowell. That is our MIT and Harvard. That needs to be a think tank and incubator to create jobs, and that's what we're working on now, a program where, you know, the starter-ups companies begin it right here in the Hamilton Canal at 110 Canal Place. UMass Lowell's in there, and we want to starter-ups there. We want to retain these companies in the city. We want to offer incentives to, you know, if you went to school here, you know, we have availability for you. You know,
Yeah,
so.
you know, the question that I have that comes up quite a bit with people who've been on the show is, what are we doing with the Rourke Bridge? Because the Rourke Bridge is obviously antiquated.
Yep.
And in very poor shape. And I used to drive my boat underneath it and be
Right.
afraid that I was going to have
Yeah.
the bridge fall on me.
Well,
What are we doing with the Rourke Bridge?
well, it's coming along. We're not where we want to be with it, Jim, in all honesty. You know, just like the city has little money to do much, the state is in the same, okay? But that doesn't mean we don't do anything. We signed a petition months ago to finish a feasibility study as to the Rourke Bridge and continue to fund us to finish it. We already have one complete, but we need a conservation study completed, and we need a little over $1 million to do that. So we petitioned. We're working on that now. But it's, Jim, people say the Dick Howe Bridge, right? Formerly known as the University Ave Bridge. How quickly that got done. Once the university got there, well, what played a major role is that building structurally was in horrendous condition.
Right.
And you may drive under the Rourke Bridge, it may not look good, but guess what? Structurally, it's sound. Okay, it is.
All right.
You may see plates, and you know when you're driving across, you hear plates. That's relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. So the state, under budget woes, has to prioritize. So they start with the bridges that are the most dilapidated, the most unsafe, and unfortunately, the Rourke Bridge structurally it's sound. It results in an abundance of traffic woes. Don't get me wrong.
It does, yeah.
We deserve more. But we're working on it. We're lobbied, as I often said, to strengthen numbers. On the city council floor, I lobbied. I says, we need. This isn't a Lowell thing. Dracut, Tingsboro, Southern New Hampshire are involved here too. Their commuters use that largely too. This isn't a Lowell thing.
Yeah.
So we need their reps. We need some New Hampshire's obviously can't come into play too much, but Dracut and Tingsboro came. This suits their residents too. So we've teamed up with their reps to jump on board with. It's awful, but we're doing all we can, Jim. It's not easy. I don't pretend it's easy.
Okay.
But we're doing what we can.
I know it's been brought up in the fight for the 18th Middlesex District
Yep.
seat.
No, it should be, yeah. It's
And it's been brought up quite a bit by
absolutely, yep.
by Roddy Mum and
Yep, and all
some of
the other
others.
challenges, yeah.
Right.
Yep, I've heard.
And it's just been frustrating for
Yeah,
the city to have that type of gridlock on
I know.
the bridge, and you don't get relief by coming up to the Falls Bridge either. I'm not sure what the Falls Bridge name is, but I always call it the
Yep.
Falls Bridge.
Yeah, Hunts Falls Bridge, right.
The Falls,
Yeah.
and so that gets backed up a lot.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
The one
Yep.
over there gets backed up a lot. It's just,
Yeah.
just one thing after the other. The only one I can say anything nice about is the Aiken Street Bridge.
Yeah, that seems to flow well. And the new Dick Howe Bridge, I think, has pretty good flow.
That's pretty
yeah.
good flow, too.
Yeah. But, you know, back to the Rourke Bridge, I mean, it's 30-some-odd years old. You know, the population of Dracut and Tingsboro and Pawtucketville has soared in 30 years. Dracut and Tingsboro has nearly doubled in 30-some-odd years. So how do you think those people are getting to the highways? The Rourke Bridge. So it continues to get, the population grows, it continues to get worse. And Lowell is a cut-through to get to the highways for the suburbs.
Yeah.
So that's where, you know, so our residents got to compete with, that's just the way it is, you know. Frustrating, but
The panhandling ordinance that just passed, did it pass?
no, not yet. It's going to go to a public hearing in September. But over the last couple of years, Jim, the city, and it started with former Councilor Marty Laurie prior to me getting elected, bringing up, you know, and been a downtown businessman, as you know, for 15 years, and it's out of control.
Right.
It really is. These guys are aggressive, overly aggressive, mainly to women. I've heard many horror stories about women being seriously intimidated by some of these, not all, but some. And you know, that doesn't go over well with me. So the city council as a whole has tried to do a number of things we passed a aggressive panhandling ordinance
Right.
that failed in the state Supreme Court.
The ACLU took us
Yep,
to court. on that
ACI
one,
took us to court. ACL took us to court on it, and it's just, you know, I wish these judges would come downtown for a walk with me one day to really see what's going on. You know, it's just frustrating. So we get no help from the courts. So so that doesn't mean we do nothing. Well, what's another solution? We keep plugging away at the issue. And I've come up with, you know, a solution working with the manager. I'm on the panhandling task force too, set up by the city manager, that what other cities and towns are doing. And we've come up with an initiative called Use Your Change for Change. Okay? Now, this means, Jim, through our work with police and city officials, that we've visited many of these homeless encampments. Okay, many of which are under bridges where they come up and panhandle and go down right to their homeless encampments, okay? And visiting these homeless encampments, and the city manager's been there himself, there are many, drug use is rampant.
Right.
So we have sufficient evidence that states that, you know, when people give panhandlers money, you're not helping them, you're enabling them. Okay, so in some cases, a considerable amount, you know, that money's going to drug or alcohol use.
Right.
Okay? I'm not saying all, but I think the evidence is there to show that, you know, this money is not going in all the right places. So we think it's more advantageous for these people who need services, for those people who want to give to a more charitable organization like the Merrimack Valley Food Bank, the House of Hope, the Transitional Living Center. They need these funds to help house these people, clothe and feed them. Okay, so when you give a panhandler money, you don't know where it's going, with all due respect. Okay?
It sounds like it's going for...
It's in significant amount of cases, Jim. Again, I don't want to say all, because it's not all, but again, the evidence is there that enough percentage is this is enabling them for drug and alcohol use. So we believe strongly.
I just saw a youth, not even an older man, but a guy who was around 16 or so, panhandling on Drum Hill, on the Lord Overpass.
Yep.
And I was surprised. He was very aggressive.
It seems like this is becoming acceptable. We have many young, able-bodied. I mean, there are mental issues as well as drug and alcohol issues as well. Some in some cases, but in some, we have just many young, able-bodied men just finding this acceptable, just cashing it in, and morally that's not the right thing to do. Okay, we all, I believe, have an obligation to work and be as productive as we can in society. Okay, so what do? We try and help them. We can't jail them. We can't. I don't want to write a ticket to a panhandler. That's not going to do any good. I don't want to incarcerate them. That's not going to help the issue. Right. So we have to help them. We have to outreach through an outreach and marketing program. We're going to ask the residents of Lowell through signage and social media to please not to give money to panhandlers. We're going to have the old stand. Remember the old parking meters before we went to the kiosk? We have a bunch of those. Warehouse. So we're going to bring those out, paint them a different color, and with signage and donate here. We'll go to the Merrimack Valley Food Bank or any of these organizations that help the individual. Rather than give the panhandlers, let's give to an outlet that helps them all, that gives them services.
That's good.
So we think it's a better strategy. I think it's tremendous. I really do. So our message, Jim, is not saying don't give. Okay, I want to make that abundantly clear. We're not saying don't give. We just think we'd like you to give to a more charitable organization that helps these people with their services, whether it's drug and alcohol rehabilitation, a clean bed, clothing, and other stuff that they need, food, shelter, and water. So that's where we feel is the money should be appropriated to. When you give to a panhandler, it's really, in many cases, you're only enabling them.
That's true. I have a history in my family of alcoholism, and I know quite a bit about enabling alcohol.
Absolutely.
And you learn the hard way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So it's
we want to help them, Jim. We're a city. We got to, and we do. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot for this issue, and so I'd like to see them get funding, from the people. If we collect all that went to panhandling and we're able to provide meals, I think these people are a lot better off.
Now, when you went to visit the homeless shelters, the homeless campsites or whatever you would call it,
I seen reports. I have not. The city manager went. Yeah, we weren't. Yeah, because they don't want to draw a crowd because they're literally almost stepping on needles. That's how.
That many?
Yeah, that's how rampant it is. Yep. So they don't advertise to bring a whole gang. I see reports and I talk to those who do, and this is what they're seeing. This is what they're reporting. And they're tied to basically the same individuals on the Lord Overpass that come up Panhandle. They cut right down to the bridge, and there's homeless encampments down there, and that's where drug use is rampant. So,
how do we pick up needles? I mean,
that's a separate cost. This is costing them. In the last 90 days, the city has spent $30,000 on cleaning up encampments. Toxic waste, needles, clothing, stuff that, it's expensive. And that's just in the last, so I like to know how much we spend in the course of the year on this issue.
In 30 days, we spent $30,000.
About 60 to 90 days, approximately. Cleaning up 2 homeless encampments now.
Okay.
It is quite costly.
I had this.
It's troubling.
I had this Thoreau type of idea in my head that it's just a bunch of people who can't afford housing camping out. I never put 2 and 2 together and said that the 4 is the fact that they are that they are using drugs.
A lot of it's substance abuse. Sure, it's very prevalent.
Okay.
There's no two ways about it. Let's find them a bed. Let's find them treatment. Okay, and that's where maybe some of this money. So I think in the next few months you're going to see a signage campaign in the downtown and social media and on this channel. Asking you, please do not give to panhandlers, because if the money dries up, then they will soon stop, right?
We should have a little bumper sticker that goes in the driver's side window saying, I gave to...
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I gave to so-and-so.
I gave to the food bank, right, because they're aggressive. They're out in traffic, knocking on windows. They're opening car doors, sticking their head in vehicles. They've just become very, very aggressive, and it's not. It's against it's their right to ask, yes, to a point, but when they start stepping on public streets, and sticking their head there. Now they're infringing on other people's rights.
Right.
But again, Jim, this is not a problem we can arrest our way out of. We're not. But
Okay.
I think through an aggressive social media and marketing campaign, we can get the money ultimately to the right resources to help these people.
Education seems to be a very hot issue in the city right now.
Yeah.
And it's involving city councilors in a way that I don't remember it ever involving city councilors before.
Yep.
And the other thing that I see is that we have a 9-0 council when it comes to the city manager. And I've never seen a 9-0 council before.
And he's a little over 2 years into his tenure. You know, everything is going great, Jim. I mean, we still have work to do, don't get me wrong. But things are going in the right direction, whether it's economic development, whether it's crime, statistics. Superintendent Taylor gave us a briefing of, violent crimes, crimes with a gun, gang activity, all down significantly here in the city in 2015, and that trend is still continuing in the first 6 months of 2016. Mm-hmm. Knock on wood. So we're going in the right directions in so many things. But the council also understands that there's a lot more to be done, and this job is not over. Mm-hmm. So the manager does a great job with all those issues. He adheres to all of our requests. He's communicate with all 9 of us. I mean, he's a very good communicator, which we all insist on, okay? So everything's going great. I don't warrant any change whatsoever right now. I think as long as we continue to work together and do what we're doing, we're going to see some more great things to come.
It's been a very enjoyable thing watching the city council.
Cool, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Go through their hoops.
It's enjoying to be part of it. Really is.
Yeah.
And you're going to see some. In the next few years, you're going to see a lot of development going on along the Thorndike Street corridor into that, coming all the way to the Songus Arena.
I'm very excited about the Lapoli. Is his name Lapoli?
Salapoli, yep.
Salapoli. Salapoli. Yep. He sandblasted his.
Yeah, he's sandblasting the buildings now. Yeah.
And it looks so much better.
Oh yeah.
It's.
Nothing was done in that for forever.
Right.
You know, and now you have a developer in there, Sal. When he starts something, it's an all-out effort. And he got in there without approvals. He's been in there in 2 months now,
right.
Without approvals, you know. But that's the chance that the developer takes, you know. Right. But it worked out well, and we're able to retain, or attempt to retain, some of those Perkins Place residents that will be have to be relocated. Yeah, we're working very hard so the timing coincides with, you know, hopefully we can that was very disheartening. It really was, to lose that parcel with what's in there. These are all young professionals in there, what Lowell's been trying to attract for a long time, and we've got to do all we can to retain them.
Okay. So you see a big effort to retain graduates of the university.
Yes, absolutely. We want young professionals in the city for sure.
Now, do we have a small business pact with any of them, or do we?
Well, that is in the making now, though. There's a whole in the early stages now, sort of in its infancy of starter-ups here, which is, we have Lowell Makes right here on Merrimack Street, which is small starter-ups in there. Mm-hmm. You know, and this will, UMass Lowell here with its incubator space right here in the Hamilton Canal, that will be producing some small. We'll be seeing the ripple effect that in the coming years, but it does take time to develop. That, you know, they work on developing new projects, you know, new patents and stuff like that. So it's very interesting, and we've got to use all our assets. And by and large, our biggest asset in the city is UMass Lowell. So we've got to use that. Definitely. So we've got to use that and work together as a team.
Well, thank you very much for being with me.
Thank you. Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for having me
again.
Likewise, anytime.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This has been Peters Principles, and this is Jim Peters. We're signing off. Thank you.